me one more time, get low. Get low, get low, get low, get low, get low, get low. For the red beam! No, alright, never mind. Let's stop there. One of my favorite leaders that has a few different options and is surprisingly competitive, RP Luffy. Red Purple Luffy is a 3-life, 6000 power leader from the Ultra Deck 10, the 3 captains, with the only free Dawn acceleration in the game. His ability states, once per turn during your main phase, if you have 0 or 8 or more Dawn cards, add 1 active Dawn. So while it is free, we do have to meet conditions to use it. This lets us bring out powerful 9 or 10 drops earlier than most decks and have an 11 Dawn endgame with cards that let us minus Dawn. General game plan. The key early game cards in this deck are Zorojuro and Mr. 2 Bon Clay. Just like our leader, we are looking for ways to get extra Dawn out for free. 3 life means we are at an inherent disadvantage compared to our opponents, so using cards like Janbaru and Lead Performer Disaster aren't the best since they cost more Dawn or don't put bodies on the board, but can be used as good budget alternatives if you don't have the other two. Helping us find Zorojuro and other good Straw Hat cards like Radical Beam and 2K counters, we use the Nami Searcher, and of course, any excuse to use these. Our opponents tend to do one of two things early. Swing high, ignoring their board state, or play on curve and have trouble attacking over our 6000 power. Knowing when to defend life and when to take it is very important in RP Luffy. These are the things you should normally consider during any given attack. How much Dawn will I be on next turn? Do I have something I can play with those Dawn? How many cards do I need to use to defend? Do I need these cards next turn? How aggressive is the opponent's leader? And will they be attacking my characters often? Depending on the matchup, you sometimes need to defend your life aggressively because their late game attacks will cost you at least 2 or 3 cards, so it's better to defend early when defending only costs 1 to 2 cards. Once we've ramped our Dawn, we can start playing the big bodies in the deck, like 7 cost Kid, 9 cost Whitebeard and Big Mom, and 10 cost Luffy's or Shanks in 09. Cards that increase our leader's power during the opponent's turn, like Kid and Whitebeard, means our opponents need to commit more Dawn per attack to even have a chance at hitting life. Cards that help us clear opponents' boards like Dragon and Big Mom means less threats to us when we aren't power boosted and help us push for game with their high powers. As a finisher, we have Nika Luffy to give us at least 3 7k plus swings, either to close out the game or if we got lucky on ramping, an early 12k attacker and draw. Playing him early though can be risky against certain matchups, since having it removed before we can ramp back up would put us very far behind. Builds and card choices. RP Luffy can be played in 2 ways, aggro or mid-range. Your card choices affect how you should pilot this deck, but the cards you are going to see in almost every deck list as 3 or 4 ofs are Nami, Zorojuro, Mr. 2, Queen, Radical Beam, Kid, and Sanji. This is an example of an aggro deck list that won a flagship battle that uses low-cost rush characters to quickly force the opponent to low life and resources to prepare for Nika Luffy. If you like this version of the deck, you're in luck because it doesn't change very much even with OP09. Personally, I enjoy the mid-range style more, consistently playing high-powered characters and using them to control the board. This deck list is what I used during OP08, but some better card choices would have probably been Dragon or Shanks. With the banning of RP Law and OP8.5, we get to use another Queen blocker in Onami, a great 2k counter, and a fun but weaker Straw Hat build, which is what I would recommend to anyone on a budget. As you've probably noticed, I don't use Whitebeard, Dragon, or Rayleigh in my decks. That is just a personal preference that matches my playstyle.
Are you sure about
a more
that?
commonly competitive deck list would probably look more like this. OP09 is when we gain access to some great new cards that make this leader much stronger than before. Yasop gives us an early 1k boost to help survive the early game, Ben Beckman to get rid of the best blocker in the game, a great new 1-cost counter, and some more choice in big bombs from 9-cost Luffy, 10-cost Shanks, and Gold Roger. The meta is still early, and seems like various deck lists are topping, so I've put my personal deck list that I enjoy playing. If you want to see what is actually winning tournaments, go check out OnePieceTopDecks.com, not a sponsor, just a good website, under deck lists OP09. Black Maria and Blackbeard. Black Maria is an interesting card. It pairs very well with an early Nika Luffy, being able to bring us back up on Dawn during the extra turn. So why do we see Black Maria very rarely in flagship winning RP Luffy lists? I think it's because to some players, having a Black Maria in hand is like gold. You don't want to get rid of it, which might lead some players to not counter with it when it's the right play. In the end though, it comes down to personal preference if you want to use Black Maria. Speaking of Nika Luffy, in OP09 you will be playing against a lot of Blackbeard, who turns it into a promo. As a finisher, it isn't bad, but having a way to win without relying on Nika Luffy is imperative, so adding Shanks and Gold Roger seems like a good choice. Shanks leader will also be very popular, and dropping Gold Roger early means we can defend against the 10 cost Shanks much more easily. In conclusion, RP Luffy is a fun leader. He has a 6000 power of Whitebeard, but without the pressure of having to take a life each turn, and access to some powerful cards that we can hopefully ramp out earlier than our opponents. I wouldn't recommend this deck to a beginner, but if you practice and get used to life management, he's a nice pick to use into the upcoming OP09 meta. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe button, and let me know in the comments what you want to see next. I have a big project coming up that I want to share with all of you, so stick around and see you next time. The One Piece!